All right, guys, thank you so much for joining us. We are super excited to bring you this program tonight. Thank you so much for taking time out of your, today is Wednesday, I had to think about that, day to spend some time with us. We have an awesome presentation for you guys tonight because, as you guys all know, and that's probably why you're here, there's so much hubbub, to-do, buzz, whatever you want to call it, on social media, all over the place, on TV news. Everybody's talking about we're going to kill our cats with essential oils, right? Like, if you hit Google, what's the #1 thing that comes up? Like, if you do Google essential oils and cats, it says the #1 way to kill your cat is with essential oils. Guys, raise your hand, just stick your hand in the air if you're using essential oils every day around your cats, your dogs, your pigs, your horses, your birds, whatever. All right, we're all using it, right? So for me, it's a must. There's no way I'm going to live in a house without essential oils. You know, there is no Lysol, there is no bleach, there's none of that stuff here. But we have an awesome presentation, like I said, for you guys, because Dr. Susan has had to do blood work on her crazy little cat this last week, and as a researcher that she is, she documents. So she's going to share that with us today. So we're going to introduce Dr. Susan, who is my co-host today, and the second part 2 and A and B of essential oils in a pet home. And this is so, it's such a blessing to have this group so that we can actually get all the right information out to everybody. So Dr. Susan, can you tell us a little bit about, first, hang on, before we do this whole thing. There's no diagnosing, curing, treating, or anything like that. Don't ask us what to do for this or for that. We're not going to say anything. We're going to talk about a situation. We're not going to talk medically. We're going to talk about blood work, which is the claim that's going on in social media that we're going to do all these bad things to our cats. Now we have some blood work to show you guys. So take it away, Susan.
Okay. Well, I wanted to come on, and because I get inundated every day with everything about, oh, why did you use this? If you saw some of the posts I had with my cat in front of the diffuser, again, we're not going to go into any of the diagnosis or why. I'm just going to tell you what oils I used, and this was all in a combined effort with all the tools in my toolbox to help on a wellness regime, a wellness protocol. And so this all started January 26th, and I had occasion to bring him into the clinic and do some blood work. And so what I'm going to show you here, and is this where you're going to pop in all this stuff here? Okay, this first one, and I don't know if you guys can see this on this deal or not, but this is blood work. Oh, it's not going to show. This is blood work that I had from June of 2017.
Hang on.
Oh, we're screen sharing.
Bear with me. Here we go. Here's 16. 26. Here we go.
Okay.
Can you see?
I don't know where I'm supposed to look here and talk. Oh, okay. Well, I have blood work from June of 2017, and it was all normal. In fact, I was trying to go back through my records and figure out why I did blood work on him back in June of 17. He fell out of the window of my house because he pushed the screen out about 2 or 3 weeks before that. But then I did blood work like 3 weeks after that. So I don't know, but it was completely normal. And we'll get a screenshot of this for that June of 2017. So anyway, January 26th of 2018, I did blood work on him, and this is what we started with. And so, I mean, if anybody understands about blood work, like I said, I'm not going to go into, what caused these values and everything like that. But again, I'm trying to figure out how to help my cat. And so these were the values that we had here. And so part of what I wanted to do, again, for a wellness protocol, was infuse oils with him. And I at first started with frankincense and aroma ease in the diffuser. And so the next day, I switched gears. And so we can show the blood work on the next day. And you can get that on there.
Yep, we're up. 27th is up.
I'm still, okay, there we go, on the 27th. And this is when I switched gears, and we started with RC in the diffuser. This is the bottle of RC I started with. I got the last drops out of it today. There's like nothing in there. So that's going to go in my bathtub. But I had RC, Melissa, where is it? Melissa and frankincense in the diffuser. And I like to use one of those directional diffusers because I can shoot it right into the cage and or the carrier or whatever I have the cat in. And so there's the video on that, if everybody can see that. And so this is where we were diffusing. So again, I started the diffuser on the 26th. I did another video without talking on it.
It's the one I found.
So then we also I did blood work again on the 28th. I did blood work 3 days in a row. Like I said, he started under the diffuser on the 26th. So this is his blood work from the 28th. And so, I mean, the main values that we're looking for here are the liver values are the ALP, the ALT, the total bilirubin. Kidney values we're looking at is BUN and creatinine, okay? Now, I can tell you right now, you'll see the total bilirubin went up to 0.8, but this cat had not eaten since Thursday morning, okay? And when you don't eat, your gallbladder doesn't work, and so things can start to back up. And so again, with everything else going on, knowing that the cat hadn't eaten and it was 0.8, I really wasn't that concerned. He was getting fluids. I was doing acupuncture on him and did some B12 acupuncture. And like I said, this was just part of the tools in my toolbox. And so then that was on the 28th. I need a calendar in front of me. Yeah, the 28th. And so anyway, I just kept diffusing. This cat, like I said, was on a diffuser. I filled it 3 times a day, 4 times a day, come in at night and do bed check, and I filled it. And I guess I should say this, I put 6 to 7 drops of the RC, 5 drops of 5 drops of the frankincense in the diffuser and let it run on him like you saw in that video. And so he started to eat again for me on Thursday, that last Thursday, for whatever that date was on that. And so he started to eat for me. I continued him on the diffuser. And then I thought, you know, we were doing what we wanted him to do. And so I did blood work again on February 4th. So that's like 10 days under the diffuser. And you can see his total bilirubin, his ALP, his ALT are still, again, his ALP, you know, again, we can get technical, is a little bit low, but that is his normal. That's his normal.
Okay,
and
VMA conference.
His BUN
was waiting for us.
and his creatinine. Somebody's talking. His BUN and creatinine are still within normal levels. Yeah, there we go.
Okay.
And he's going to continue with the diffuser. And so I think he just hopped up behind me there. Yeah. So this is the normal Mao. And so my whole point in coming on here is showing that this can be a part of a whole wellness protocol. Again, we're going to be talking compliantly here. And there's just so much out there that says you're going to do harmful things. And when you're talking about this from a poison control perspective, that's what they see there. So, I mean, I'm not trying to knock my colleagues or anything like that, but when you have inferior quality oils that are used however they're used, bad things can happen. So it is a valid concern, totally valid concern. And so I was chastised when I put the video up there about RC has eucalyptus in it. It's toxic to cats. And maybe it can be if you've got a poor quality oil and depending on how you're using it. And so again, knowing what's going on with your pet, it takes a cooperative effort to put everything together. And so knowing what's going on with your pet, what your current health status is of your pet, and then using it in conjunction with everything that we know. So I do have to say we went to, I needed to have a procedure done that I can't do here at my clinic. I took him to a referral center, and when I told him he's raw fed, and they kind of raised their eyebrows. And when the ER doctor came in, she immediately stopped at the door and she's like, oh, so we have some aromatherapy going here. I'm like, yep, we do. I mean, if my mind would have been in the right place, I would have said, oh, so you are familiar with the benefits of essential oils. And I'm like, oh, I'm here to get a procedure done. Let's just talk about that. So I really wasn't, like I said, my mind wasn't in that right place. But so again, I've experienced it. Y'all are going to experience it. And so it's a matter of education, and it's not necessarily, how do I say this? It's not necessarily the time and place to do it right there. But again, you've got to work with everybody. You know, I call it being a part of the healthcare team, if that makes sense on that. So anyway, there's been a lot of stuff out there, and if there is an issue with an essential oil causing problems in pets, we want to see that. I mean, that's part of what we're doing with the VMAA, the Veterinary Medical Aromatherapy Association, is trying to compile information, non-branded, to establish protocols. But that's what I think is really lacking out there, is we see, well, this oil did this to my pet, that oil did that to my pet. Why do you think that happened? You know, show me the blood work. When they're saying, oh, it affects their liver, it affects their kidneys, show me the blood work. What else was going on with that pet? Because like I said, yes, there can be, I'm repeating myself here, so bear with me. But there can be bad things that happen, but if you're aware of the quality, the quantity, the method of application, there can be good things that can happen with that. What did I forget to say?
No, that's exactly it. I mean, just being a pet professional yourself, going in for a second opinion to get more help. I mean, you had experienced exactly what a lot of us experience every single time we walk into the vet's office, and either we deny a vaccine, or we deny this, or we say we raw feed, or we use essential oils. They give us that look. And what I want everybody to kind of walk away with is, like, you have to defend yourself and stand up for yourself, and know if you're using Young Living essential oils, you have the right stuff. Okay. The thing we talked about earlier, and you know, Susan and I can talk about this stuff all day long, is everybody has essential oils now. Like, okay, the grocery store has it, the supermarket has it, every direct sell marketing company, almost everybody has it now. They added it in because of our success. And so there's Mao. And so when we went through our training with ISHA for Certified Clinical Aromatherapists, we're actually taught that a lot of the rules that are out there are there because there's so much inferior quality. There's a lot more bad stuff on the market than there is good stuff. So when you hear all these warnings, it's actually true. Like, your cat can be harmed by eucalyptus oil, but when you know the quality of what you're using, the harm is not an issue because you're using the quality and the purity. I had somebody tell me the other day not to use Young Living because it's too pure. And that I was like, what? Like, does that make any sense? So what happens is fear is being spread throughout the internet. It's kind of like a telephone game. You know, it's like one person says one person says one person, and nobody really knows. The end person doesn't really even know the story. They just know that they heard something, you know, and they keep passing it on as truths. Mao, he's such a troublemaker. So when you hear all these things, you have to take it with a grain of salt and remember what you have is the best. Go ahead. What were you going to add?
Okay. Well, yeah, one thing I would add on that is, again, a lot of the statements that are out there are generalities. Okay. And I'll be the first to admit, I've worked with Young Living for a long time, and some of the things that are on their blog, and I've had a big conversation with them about this. When you go on the Young Living site and look at their animal blog, and you'll see some of the general statements on there. And the issue there is, and this is what gets perpetuated out there in some of the trainings and everything, is yes, it's true that cats metabolize things differently because of their pathways in the liver. And so some of the statements that are on the Young Living site, they have to do that. And I kind of like go, okay, but I understand this, and I'll get to that in a minute, because you don't know who's going to go on there and look at these statements. So they're going to give these general warnings, because people may look at that and go, okay, because it says on there about citrus oils. This cat, there he is. This cat is 3 years old. He gets Ningxia Red every day. When he wasn't eating, that's all he was getting was Ningxia Red down the gullet with a syringe. And we know what Ningxia Red has in it, citrus oils. But when you see some of this information on even like the Young Living site, they're doing it because people are going to go on there and look at it, and they're going to go, they don't know, they don't understand, they haven't done their due diligence, and they're like, I ain't paying that for that kind of an oil. This is going to be just as good.
Yep.
And so they get something that's inferior. And I've seen cases of this in my hospital, in my clinic, and they're going to try and cut corners. But that's the thing, you can't cut corners on this. And so I kind of have to go, okay, that's why I don't necessarily agree with everything that's on even the Young Living site. I don't agree with some of the things that are out there. But again, it's better to err on the side of caution. I guess I have to do that. Because again, we don't want anybody harmed. We don't want any of our furry friends. We don't want any two-legged animals that we know harmed. And so unfortunately, this information is out there. I don't know that it's going to go away anytime soon, but you have to be confident in your knowledge, your understanding, your experience. And again, if you don't know, I say if you don't know, it's better off not to. And that's where some of this information you're going to see from these. There was an article, VCA had an article about essential oils and liquid potpourri and everything. And, they're saying, don't do it, don't do it. And of course, those things are inherently laden with toxins and everything. So yeah, I'm going to agree with that. ASPCA, the poison control, they all have articles out there going, no, no, no. But again, nobody's talking about quality. So I hope, I feel like I'm repeating myself, but anyway, like I said, there's going to be that information out there. Yeah, he's really sick now. Yeah.
That's it.
The oils have done a number on him. Yeah.
And the other thing that we talked about too was the ASPCA. We kind of looked at it and followed the money trail, and there's a clear reason why they recommend the products that they recommend. And all I could say is they get money from somewhere, right? So you have to kind of watch those things too. Can you read Marta's question? Can you see it?
Where did it go? About the.
So is there a basis for the cats being deficient in the enzyme for processing certain constituents?
Yes, that's true. That's true. That's why some medications we can only use very little, and it has to be intermittent. I mean, example, aspirin. Aspirin, as we know, can be toxic to cats. It can be used, but you have to be very specific in the dose, and you have to be very specific in the timing. If you gave an aspirin to a cat once or twice a day for multiple days in a row, yeah, you would zap their liver. You would have a very, very sick, possibly terminally ill cat for doing that. So that's where, again, knowing, how you're doing it, would I dump an entire bottle of thieves on a cat? No, absolutely not. Same thing with oregano, basil, thyme, all your hot oils that are high in phenols, aldehydes, ketones. Those are things you have to watch. But again, that being said, having to stay away from any of those, especially like if you have an oil like that that's in a blend, not necessarily. Again, it's dilution, quantity, quality, and method of application. Did that answer that?
Yes.
Okay.
And
on
also,
that. So
there's even Kitty Raindrop that has all of those in it, and they're
right.
in a carrier oil that if the cat licks it, I'm still okay with it. I have no problem. Yep. I put it actually on my hand and rub it in. I don't drip it because my cats move too much, and dripping it sometimes just is bad aim.
Yeah.
Didn't mouth any
and
of
again,
that.
those.
Oops, she's stuck. She'll be back. This happens all the time. She really is out in the middle of nowhere. So on our videos, this is where we cut things off. but should come back in. If not, she'll leave and come back. But one thing I wanted to kind of bring up again and go over is how every store has essential oils. And people, like she was saying, just get lazy and they're like, oh, they said lavender is really good. Let me just grab this bottle. It's on my checkout. It's $5.99. That's way better than the $30 that Young Living wants. Let me just grab that. It'll be fine. And that's where a lot of things happen. And then
Raindrop. That's one thing I didn't do with him. Yeah. Oh, am I back?
You're back. Okay. Yeah.
Am I back?
Yeah, you're back.
Okay. That was, I could see you and hear you, but last I was talking about Kitty Raindrop, and that was one thing I hadn't done with him yet. That was on my list, but like I said, things changed and he started eating, and so we're good.
Cool, definitely. So Jan is asking that she's heard citrus isn't good. We just addressed that. What dose? Okay, can I diffuse without concern? There is no concern when you're using Young Living. If you're putting in a cold air diffuser and you put a couple drops in, diffuse away. It goes over the course of 4 hours or 10 hours or whatever. I personally would not be concerned doing that all day, every day. That's me. I have a cat room where my cats eat and use a litter box, and I have a guinea pig in there. I straight Young Living citrus oil diffuse in there because it's cost effective. I do that in and out, and I'll run it for 10 minutes on, half an hour off until the bottle's empty. No problem doing that. But you have to, I'm going to highly recommend everybody, if you have pets in your home, you're going to have to go to Discover LSP and investigate for yourself, buy some books. They need to be part of your wellness tools. Everybody needs these. I cannot tell you the name of the book because that's, telling you answers, and I can't do that, but I can tell you a site, which is discoverlsp.com, and check out their animal stuff. There's a lot of reference guides that are amazing, but I would not be of concern. I would be of very high concern not using Young Living. If you're not using Young Living, I would avoid all essential oils. It's kind of like, I was trying to come up with a comparison, and honestly, I was racking my brain for like 2 hours. The best thing I can come up with is knockoffs, right? So everybody wants a Coach bag, but they don't want to spend the money for it. So what do? You go to New York City, you go on a bus trip, you go down to Chinatown, and you go take a risk, and you go with one of those people that run you behind a closed door, and they shut that big gate behind you, and you go in and buy a $10 Coach purse, right? And you leave, you're all excited, you got your Coach purse, and you only paid $10 versus $100, right? But if you run into your friends that like Coach bags, they know that's a fake. You know it's a fake. And if your arm turns brown from it, you know it's fake. I mean, this has nothing to do with essential oils. I'm telling you, there's real and there's imposters. You get what you paid for. Use the best, have the desired results. Use the worst, and you do not want to know what your results are going to be. You don't even want to try to venture into that. Can we hit on this topic a little bit? We talked about it earlier. Some people are claiming, this was about the Vet's Pest post, some people are claiming that they're having all these negative effects to their cats using Young Living or using a couple other name brands that are supposedly good. And it's kind of really, it's one of those telephone games. It's not even the people, my brain just went in 8 different directions, sorry. It's not even the people that it's happening to, but we actually did have a conversation with somebody that claims that a Young Living oil caused problems to her cat, just in her dog, sorry, in full disclosure, I want to bring this up. But when push came to shove and we start asking questions, this person didn't have all the tests. They went to a vet that really wasn't familiar with essential oils, and that vet was like most vets could and possibly would do, is blame the essential oils because they don't really know much about it. Can we tap into that a little bit about that scenario, both of those scenarios? I think you know what I'm talking about.
Okay, well, if I'm going down the wrong path, reel me back in.
Okay.
Because you and I were both dealing with that one, and so she was claiming this essential oil caused her dog to have this kind of a problem, and she took it to a clinic, a very well-known clinic, and they said, oh yeah, and it was like, oh really? So what was going on with the blood work? What was the white cell count? What was the, oh, I didn't have money to do that. So I kind of go, okay, because what else was going on with the dog? And again, from my experience, you should be able to, if there was something back up the bus. Okay. If something's going on with your pet that makes you inclined to use an essential oil instead of, or it should, to me, it should be in conjunction with actually having a full checkup done. So again, this goes back to knowing what your pet's health status is. For general wellness maintenance, using the essential oils in a slow and low diluted misting fashion and should be a non-issue. But if you're thinking something is kind of going, I've read about this and I think this is going to help my dog for whatever reason, or cat or whatever, then you might need to have a little bit more understanding of what your pet's health status is. Is that where we wanted to go?
Yeah, definitely. Absolutely. Absolutely. Because then also the vets don't know and understand essential oils. So going with the generalized rule, if you don't know something about it, you say, oh, well, just avoid that. Like you went to the emergency clinic and they were like, oh, essential oils, so, got a little standoffish with you being another vet professional. So, we get it. And that's one of those things. It's like, you have to know in your heart of hearts what you're using isn't hurting your animals. And if you don't know that and walk into a vet's office, they're going to catch that right away and you're going to accept the blame and then maybe roll that into, I can't believe you let me use oils, they're harming my animal. If you're using Young Living, guys, know you're okay. Let me read you Terry's question here. Terry, if you can write what you're talking about specifically, if there's one. A question came up today. If a plant is known to be toxic to pets, why would the essential oil be okay? Is there an answer for that? What oil exactly are they talking about?
Yeah, what specific plant are we talking about?
Let's see if we get an answer. Who's typing? I don't know.
Again, there can be certain.
If she says she doesn't know, it came up while her daughter was arguing with an ASPCA group. So I don't even know what oil that would be that's toxic to them.
Well, certain parts of some plants can be toxic, but that doesn't mean the whole plant is toxic. So if we had a more specific example, I might be able to address that. And someone was legitimately wanting to learn about essential oils. Okay. And that, again, sometimes too much of anything can be a bad thing, as we know. But again, certain parts of the plant are toxic. The essential oils, I'll put it another way. If Young Living doesn't have it, especially as
oh no, she's stuck again. Oh boy, she'll be back. And we have to remember too, there's no proteins in essential oils.
Single oil. Now that being
okay, go.
Looks like I'm out again.
You're locked up, but you're back.
Okay, I'm back.
You're back.
Okay, all right. I'm sorry. You were talking something about protein.
I was just talking to fill space.
Oh. Okay. What part did I miss?
We didn't get any.
I love this rural stuff. I'm sorry.
We didn't get any of your response. So basically it said if Young Living doesn't have it, and you said back it up about a single.
Okay. There are some, if Young Living doesn't have the oil as a single, I'm probably going to be a little leery of using it. Now but like I said, that being said, there are some oils in some of Young Living's blends that they don't offer as a single. But in the blend, I'm confident with Young Living that the blend of it is such that we're not going to have to worry about any toxicity factors.
Another person, a good example is dogs can't eat grapes, but grapeseed oil is a carrier. Okay, completely different. Grapes are the fruit, the seed is the middle. So it's a carrier oil and it's not an essential oil. So it's a little bit different.
I know. And in holistic, and in holistic circles, there's a whole thing about the grape thing. I can't tell you how many toxicology seminars I've been to where that's been perpetuated about grapes and raisins, and it's kind of, again, it's one of those things. Okay, fine. When in doubt, don't give it to them. Too much of a good thing can be a problem. Where did the grapes come from? What are the insecticides and pesticides on it? If your dog, oh my God, eats a grape, it's not necessarily going to immediately throw itself into kidney failure. So again, there's some of that to be, and that's one of the things. I mean, I have a toxicology chart in one of my exam rooms, and it lists grapes and raisins, and I'm just kind of going, okay. I mean, it's not something that I'm really going to advocate feeding them a lot of, but again, there can be, that information also comes from the poison control, where maybe the dog ate a whole bunch of unwashed grapes or something, and we had a problem. What else was going on with that dog? What was the dog being fed, et cetera, et cetera. So again, it's one of those things, when in doubt, stay away from it. I'm not necessarily advocating that.
Yep.
But again, it's one of those kind of myths that get perpetuated and then becomes fact.
Yeah, and I know I'm just throwing this on you, but didn't we both read an email that said something about the whole thing with essential oils and pets originate, oh my God, back in like 1974 or something like that? Remember that big long email you forwarded me? If you don't, we'll just skip this.
Okay, I have to skip that because I'm sure we talked about it, but I'm not remembering.
It wasn't today though, and I don't want to just blurt it out and say it, but that's okay. Just
for another video.
Yes, for another video. We got to keep it coming back, right? So for someone asking about why eating parts of the plants, all right, well, eating parts of the plants is a little different than essential oils, so I don't know what to say. But when you're talking about the plant and versus essential oils, it's kind of different, you know? How would you?
I just figured out how to see the chat, the comments. Okay.
Oh, okay.
I'm a little behind.
That's okay. We're rolling with this. But like, you know, if my dog goes out and eats a whole bunch of grass, let's say it's lemongrass, and then a drop of essential oil, the lemongrass, he would probably puke, because anything that's grass that my dog eats, he throws up. I'm not going to say I got to rip all the grass out of my backyard because he threw it up, you know. Lemongrass, I would put a drop on my hand and have no problem rubbing it into his knee. If he licks it, he licks it. He probably won't do it again because it's kind of hot. But eating the plant versus eating the oil is different in a lot of different ways, because you're getting all the proteins, you're getting all the fiber, all that kind of stuff too. Is there another way we can say that? Because I'm kind of saying that on the fly.
No, in the whole plant, you're getting way more stuff than you are in the essential oil. So yeah, when you talk about the protein, the fiber, you know, the actual physical bits and pieces that can cause, you know, GI irritation.
Yeah. My cats, as soon as they get out, they go eat something, run back in the house and puke. It's like a given, puke in the house. The other thing, I just lost it. It just fell out of my head.
We'll come back after we review this and we'll go, oh, I should have said this, I should have said that.
Exactly.
So we can maybe do some follow-ups.
Right. So hopefully we got some hands raised. If you guys can just type things, it's easier. If I start opening the lines, things are going to get absolutely crazy in here. If you can jump in chat and just type away kind of thing. I know what I was going to say. So with Young Living, all our parts and pieces are in our oils. My oils are over there. So if you have wintergreen, now let's talk about lavender. If you have lavender with all your constituents in your parts and pieces, when Young Living tests it, if all those parts and pieces don't test where we need it to be, it gets refused. A lot of companies out there, if their parts and pieces don't add up and they need to add a part or a piece, they add it. And then it becomes whole, but it's become synthetically whole. And those are things that are hard to test, if without an untrained eye and a library of tens of thousands of resources, it's hard to tell if it's synthetically altered or not. So, and that's one of the reasons why Young Living does not give out its MS or its mass spectrometer, all the gas chronography, all those different tests that are being done. Young Living, those are patented, and those are our thumbprint, so to say. And it's so easy for a competitor to grab our sheet, take our name off, and put their name on it. So there's a lot of reasons why we don't put that information out there. And it's pretty much, it's our patent of what these plants are supposed to be like. And everybody wants to copy, just like everybody wants to copy our success. And why not grab some of our, you know, we've been out there for 30 years putting this wellness industry on the map, and everybody wants to take a part of it because, hey, who doesn't like 30% off at Kohl's, right? Earn Kohl's cash and get 30% off your essential oils. Don't do it, guys. don't risk it. All right, type profession, oil on my cat when diffuse. If I can't get an oil on my cat, will diffusing the oil be
Effective.
effective?
Okay.
Yeah.
I would say it should be, because if you think about it, you're putting it out in the air. Like I said, I recommend starting with a water-based diffuser. That being said, I have worked with some animal control facilities where we've used the TheraPro and the Aromalux diffusers. So diffusing, the straight oil, hooking up the bottle of oil to that. And we've had really good luck with that. Again, because we're putting the big thing into the air. He's into something. He's the Mao. Because we're putting the oils into the air. Again, that's going to settle on the cats. Cats are groomers, so it's going to get into them that way. And they're going to be breathing it, so you're going to get the effects that way. Again, the hair, the fur is going to act like a wick and get some of that in there. So, diffusing to me is always a great way to start. Frankincense, sacred frankincense is probably my favorite thing for cats in general. Proven it with the Mao. We have a history, Mr. Mao and I. But again, if you don't want to or can't get an oil directly on them, absolutely diffuse.
And I find in our house, the grooming is pretty much the best option, because they see me open the bottle and they run. They're like, no. They just know I'm going to grab them and do something, so they take off. I like Marta's litter aroma. That's one thing I still keep saying I'm going to do, and I haven't done it yet. Add it to some baking soda, add it into their litter, and everybody gets a little bit of exposure. But I know this, I would have been so mad if I didn't bring this up. I'm so glad you were talking and you clued me into something here. So let's just address the white elephant. Who diffuses at night?
Oh, yeah.
Whose cats sleep in bed with them? Guess what? Mine's been doing it for 8 years. They're still here. And one of my cats goes underneath the covers. She's fine, okay? I'm not diffusing my diffuser underneath the covers and trapping her there underneath a plastic dome. There's some crazy things out there saying don't sleep with your cats with a diffuser on. Make sure your door is open so they can leave. Of course, make sure your room door is open so they can leave. If you keep your door shut, like right now, I'm in a room, my door is shut, my cat is sleeping, my diffuser is going. I am not concerned one bit, okay? So if this was my bedroom, more than likely, middle of the night, she wants out anyways. So I don't know how people sleep with the door shut and keep their cat in the room. But unless you are diffusing and covering your cat in a pillowcase and making them breathe it under the covers, guys, come on. When you hear some of these warnings that are out there, think twice about what's being said. I want you to expand your mind, right? Open your heart and expand your mind. So my cat sleeps on top of me. My diffuser is about 3 feet above my head, a little bit. I don't even want to say that, because if I even say that, my cat's going to do it. It's a little bit out of reach so that they really can't just jump up there, because I have one cat, her name is Jenga, and she is true to her name. She's a Jenga. So my diffuser is up there, and this diffuser runs for 10 hours. My cats go in and out. One of my cats doesn't like to go hang out in the living room. She hangs out in the bedroom all day. She loves it. And if I turn the diffuser on, it doesn't make her leave. She likes hanging out there. They curl up by the pillows. They curl up by the blankets. They go underneath the blankets. It's okay. It's okay. Don't take your TheraPro, throw your cats under the cover, diffuse it right in their face. That's illogical. So think about what you're doing. Knowing that you're using Young Living, know that you pick the best, you're using the purest. If you're unsure, then don't do it. If you're worried about something, you know what? That's the cool thing. Young Living has how many? We got 180 different oils or something like that. I don't know. Use something else. If you don't like it, if you're really, really deadly scared of eucalyptus, try something else. There's other things out there. You don't have to do RC. You know, you can try something else. Try lavender, whatever you want to do. But I'm going to say, do your research, do your homework. If you are in an industry where people are really bothering you and questioning you, what I'm going to say is you need to get more solid on your feet and read some books and get some understanding, get some training as to how to address these. Because when you're, you just have to be able to know what you're talking about. I'm not saying you need to go out and take all these certification classes, but you know what? If that's something that you think will be good for you, definitely go out and do it. A few of us have done it. A few of us are very glad we did it. I don't plan on being certified. But at the same time, I know I can look things up and help some people on their journey. But is there anything else that we should add to this conversation? Or let's see if there's anything over here.
One of the things I'd say is those little screenshots of the blood work. We'll put those up, and I'll write up some little kind of a thing and just, serially put that so that can be shared if everybody, if y'all would like to have that to be able to do that with. And so like I said, it's just one of those things that just happened to be, I did it, I had reason to do blood work 3 days in a row. And then, like I said, I started diffusing from day one, and I switched up what I was using. And here it was, 10 days later or 7 days later, whatever it was, I did blood work again. And if you believed everything on the internet and you were using crappy oils, you might have a bad experience. But I don't even know where he is. I probably should be worried. but you using the good quality essential oils, the way you're using it, slow and low, diffusing, watching your pet, being cooperative with your healthcare professionals, we're good.
Yeah, I just saw on here, Trish said she smells it and runs. My cats do the same thing. I mean, their sense
honor that. Honor that. If they're, if they're telling you that, honor that.
When I'm not gonna lie, guys, when I first started with essential oils, I was told by somebody to mix in this bottle and spray my cat in the face. No lie. Yep. So needless to say, I was like, okay, but I don't really want to do it. So I sat on him. I held his head. I sprayed my hand, and my cat hates oils to this day. But if I grab him and apply some to his belly as I'm petting his belly, and then release him, he's on his way. I don't hold the bottle over his nose, or, this is the cat that, if you follow me on Facebook, or actually the picture I posted for this event, that's him choosing to sit by Brain Power. And he was there for a long time, sniffing the air, loving on it, until the dog came over and bumped him out. The dog wanted to take his turn and was sniffing on it. So I keep doing Brain Power. My dogs love Brain Power. I have no idea what's in it, but all my critters love the Brain Power. So.
That's what your books are for, Heather.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what your books are for. Well, I haven't done it for a while because we've been a little busy, but we run like 6 or 7 diffusers throughout the clinic, and I let my staff pick what's in the diffuser. They look up different combinations, and we use a lot of citrus. We use a lot of tree oils. Sometimes I have to go, that sounds a little expensive. Let's pull back on that one.
Oh, wow.
But like I said, I post some of those on some of my other Facebook pages. So again, and the other thing we can say is, and this is something I try not to get too terribly defensive about it, but if these oils were really truly killing pets, I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing for as long as we've been doing it. So, did you all freeze me again? Nope. It freezes when I say the good stuff.
Yeah. When she gets to the things.
Did you hear that? Did y'all hear that?
Mm-hmm.
Or if these oils were really as bad as they say they were, and animals were literally dropping over, what did Lindsay Elmore call it? Catmageddon or something like that.
Catmageddon.
Yeah. We wouldn't be here. We wouldn't be doing what we're doing with them.
Yep. Absolutely. So in Brain Power, it's sandalwood, cedarwood, melissa, frankincense, blue cypress, lavender, and helichrysum. I think I like that. I think I like all that stuff. Let's see. Yep. Let the cats choose their flavor. Trish said her cat has kidney disease, so I was putting 1 drop of lemongrass and juniper in a carrier oil on her. Their sense of smell is just super, super strong. And if we had, like Dr. Susan said, we have to honor them if they don't like it. But the other thing is my cat doesn't like digestive oils, and I grab them, put them on, and let them go. So sometimes they just need it, you know, and you have to be okay with doing it. If you're not okay with doing it, then don't do it. I don't know how else to say that. So
yeah. So he's back. I don't know where he's been, but there isn't too many things he
Wow.
can be. Yeah.
Yeah, right. Well, Mao's all excited. He gets to go home tonight. He's been living at the clinic for a few days. 10 days, right? Is that what you said? Keeping him there?
Yeah, since the 25th, 26th. I brought him in the night before I started doing blood work. So,
Keeping him out.
so we can, and I can show everybody. Maybe I can.
Oh, that's the new
This
baby.
is my new guy. He's just starting his oil journey. This is my new puppy, Grayson.
Hi, Grayson. Hey, buddy. Hi. He's a big Mao. He looks like Mao, but bigger.
Yeah. So he tried his dental treat yesterday. When I put my oils on this morning, his nose was going and he kind of walked away, but I use a lot of oils in the morning. And so we're, like I said, this is day 3 with us. So
Cool.
we'll let you know how it goes.
I'm sure we'll be seeing posts of his adventure, and that's the thing. You're introducing an older dog, not older, but older dog into a very oily household. So it's, you know, it's a respect thing, and let's see where he goes with us. So, you know, it's low and
He's
slow.
7. He'll be 7 years old, and he's been on a commercial dog food, and he's been dutifully vaccinated, and so we're going to be doing some things different with him. So.
He's on his journey.
I think we've covered about everything we wanted to cover.
Yep, I think we're good.
Thank you everyone for hanging in here with us, and we hope to do some more of these. And private, I'll just say private message me, private message Heather, and we can get some more videos going.
Yeah, we love doing videos. If we can do them this way, great. A lot of times we try to do them in the middle of the day and just knock them out for you guys, and edit them for all those little glitches and stuff, and then post them up for you later. We have about 3 or 4 more waiting to put up, but we're going to put this one back up for everybody that wasn't here so you guys can see it. This will, if I do it correctly, be on YouTube so you guys can freely share and not have to worry about anything. So our job is to educate, and that is what we're here for. So make sure you add your friends over on Facebook to our Essential Oils in the Pet Home. We are so excited for this group. I mean, we're growing almost 1,500 people in less than a week. And I don't even know how many, it's probably almost a week, probably not quite. But, you know, we just want to really put it out there for everybody. We don't want the fear anymore. So have a great night, everybody. Thank you so much
for watching us
videos and letting us know what you want to see, and we'll do our best. Okay, guys?
Thank you.
Have a great night. Thank you. Bye-bye.